by the detective on scene who arrived at a home in South Chandler. Back on July the 11th, 2019, it reads like this. At about 8:30 a.m. that day, police were summoned to the 5500 block of South Four Peaks Place for the report of a shooting. It then goes on to say that investigators discovered 62-year-old Charles Vallow with 2 gunshot wounds to the chest, dead. Investigators, this is how the report reads now, this is the original report from that day, learned that Vallow arrived at the residence to pick up his son, and then it goes on to talk about how that Vallow and his estranged wife, we all know who that is, had been in an argument, and that Vallow and his brother-in-law had been in a fight, that Vallow struck the brother-in-law with a baseball bat, and that brother-in-law, by the way, Alex, who had shot Vallow. So, yesterday was a chance to listen to law enforcement describe that shooting scene, a shooting scene, by the way, that has now been discussed over and over and over since then in greater detail. So here, as we get going with Fox 10 Talks this morning, here's a chance for you to hear a little bit more of what was actually being said in court.
Is that a closer up of that bat?
Yes, it is.
Were photographs taken of the sort of edge of the bat itself?
The fat edge, I guess.
The fat edge.
Sure, I don't know nomenclature of the bat, so yeah.
Not the handle. How's that?
Yes.
When you were looking at this, were you looking for any blood? And I'm going to put up 37, 38, 39, or any biological material?
We were looking for visible evidence, yes.
Okay. Did you observe any yourself?
I did not.
Did the edge look pristine and clean to you, visibly?
Visibly, I did not see any sort of biological evidence on it.
Did you note any biological evidence anywhere on the bat that was visible to you?
I did not.
Approach with 249. Do you recognize what 249 is?
Yes, I do.
And is that the bat that we have seen in these photos marked as item number 2? That we see here in Exhibit 35?
Yes.
When you were at the medical examiner's office as they were performing the autopsy, did you learn additional evidence that helped support your opinion as to whether or not Mr. Vallow was laying on the ground when he was shot in the abdomen and the bullet exited his left shoulder?
Yes.
What was that additional evidence that you considered when reaching this opinion?
Well, I had asked for specific things for the doctor to include in the examination that would help me with rendering that information. One of them was to measure the location of the bullet strikes on the body, both the entry and the exits. And then I also asked for the use of trajectory rods, if it was available, to help demonstrate the angles of the shots so that I could visibly see everything. They have the unique experience of being able to see the actual damage to the organs as it's passing through. It's not all super clear for me for that part, so the trajectory rods help out a lot.
Okay, just really interesting to go through some of that. And we have invited George Obie, who has been every step of the way, along with our Justin Lum, to join us this morning. Syleste is here as well. Let me make sure I have all 3 microphones open and set. So what would you say was the big takeaway, George, from yesterday?
Well, so what we've seen, at least in the first 2 days, is law enforcement setting up the crime scene, if you will. Yesterday, Detective Coons took the stand late afternoon. He is a retired detective now. He was the first detective on the scene there in July of 2019.
Good reminder of how long ago it's been.
You're right.
He's now well off into retirement.
His testimony yesterday centered around, again, what was inside the home, what he observed, what law enforcement did to secure the scene. Trina Kay, the prosecutor for the state, went basically room by room, kind of laying out for the jury in great detail where Charles's body was found, and then what detectives and what police found or didn't find in each of the rooms. And the idea being that based on their investigative work, the shooting and, as they would learn, the fight was centered around the kitchen area. So they went room to room. They found no blood. They found no sign of a struggle in any of the other rooms. But where Charles' body was near the kitchen, and there was some blood on the floor and then blood in the kitchen area. And so the prosecution spent most of the afternoon interviewing Dr. Coons and Detective Coons, and getting him to explain to the jury what they initially found when they arrived. And again, detectives deemed this shooting self-defense. And so...
Why is that important?
Well, it's important because they initially, you know, when they deemed it self-defense, there was never any cause for concern that there was something more nefarious going on. So from Lori's defense, she doesn't want to deviate from that, right? She wants it to remain self-defense. But now, as we've learned, the state's trying to prove that it wasn't so much self-defense, but more of a premeditated effort on the part of Lori and her brother Alex Cox, that they had planned this quote-unquote shooting all along. And as the state will present in their case, as they did in their opening arguments, that the motive was the life insurance for Charles.
Okay, yeah, the whole money discussion has certainly been front and center. Syleste also interacting with our viewers this morning as well. I don't know, Syleste, if you're getting any feedback, but what else did you want to kind of discuss with George? I mean, every minute you and Justin are on this. You've seen every minute of the feed.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting too that you know, a lot of people at home, they may see Ron and I, but we don't see enough of you.
No.
And so
For good reason.
you've been really an intricate part of the coverage. What's it been like for you with Justin sitting like on the streaming set and just being able to, like, because you've been, you know, investigating this story as much as he has, really.
Well, you know, this is a saga that's, again, been going on since 2019. We first started covering it, I think, in depth in the fall of that year. We've also covered both previous trials of Lori and then, of course, of her current husband, Chad Daybell, the Idaho trials. And so it's ironic that this is now the culmination of this entire saga.
Yeah.
And in theory, this is the first case that I think kind of set the dominoes, you know, falling. This was the first shooting of Charles when he was shot in the home. And then, of course, Alex dies months later, natural causes. And then, of course, Tammy Daybell, Chad's first wife, dies as well later that year. And then, of course, we know the kids were killed in late summer, early fall of 2019. Their bodies were discovered in June of 2020, buried on Chad's Idaho property. So this particular incident at the home in Chandler in July of that year of 2019 was really the first part of this entire saga.
The first domino to fall.
So it's becoming now full circle. People should know that no matter what happens with this case or the next case with Brenda Boudreau, her niece's former husband, that trial will happen next month in theory. This will then, I think, close the chapter for all of this. But no matter what happens, Lori is going to eventually go back to Idaho.
Well, George, I mean, your coverage has been outstanding.
It really has.
When we can call upon you, when Justin is busy with other stuff, will you come back?
Absolutely. Yep.
Okay.
Look at you. You can be on camera now.
Oh, great.
Aren't you
Yes.
excited about that?
Lovely. Yes, my kids will be excited.
Excellent. If you ever need any makeup, I got a little bit left.
I don't know.
Lip
If
gloss?
we can cover the
I got
beard,
you
yes.
covered.
Okay, good.
Hey, there's another really interesting story that we've been talking about this morning. In fact, a lot of people are talking about it because you can fight City Hall, at least in Scottsdale, when it comes to putting in a roundabout. Check out what was being said at last night's City Council meeting, and then we'll tell you how they ended up voting.
You've got to weigh the human factors, and the human factors include tourists, elderly people, people on medication, people hauling vans and trailers, horse trailers, moving vans, all from 50 miles an hour to a 2-lane roundabout where most people are too scared or too afraid to know how to drive. That's the human factor that you don't see illustrated in these numbers here tonight.
Carmel, Indiana has about 140 of them. Their whole town, they've converted everything. Less pollution, less gas used, fatalities are almost non-existent in intersections, so are other accidents almost non-existent anymore, and they've learned how to drive them.
Okay, so Scottsdale Road and Dynamite, that is the area we are talking about. And you know what? At the end, the city council opted to scrap that plan.
Wow.
Even though it had been in the works for quite a while. They say it means giving up about $30 million in federal money that they were going to use to. These intersections seem very
that's very pricey.
Yes.
Right?
Correct.
Remember back in the day, we just like keep driving down the road and it paves its own way. Like that's why Rural Road is called Rural Road in Tempe, Arizona.
What? Yeah.
Because it was a rural road at the time.
How much would it cost to just put 4 stop signs up there at Scottsdale and Dynamite and have it be a 4-way stop?
Well, listen to this. We've driven that road. There's not much up there, just a bunch of homes, not very many grocery stores, not very many gas stations.
Yeah.
So people are flying down Scottsdale Road.
That's a really good point.
So I think that may be why.
Okay.
But those roundabouts, they work.
Well, it's great because it's the subject of our poll question this morning, and sure, people definitely have opinions. 47%. What do you think? Is it time to stop building so many of these roundabouts? At first, they were kind of an experiment, but now if you go around some parts of town, you see a bunch of them. 47% say, I can't stand them. 33% say, you know what? Don't stop because it's better than being backed way up at a stoplight. And then 20% say, I don't mind them, but I don't want to see a whole lot more.
Okay.
Do you have an opinion?
I don't mind them.
Yeah.
But the reason is because I'm with the people who I don't want to be stuck at a light.
Right.
Because right now at 7th Avenue and the I-10, they have lengthened the time of the green arrows to jump on the freeway.
Oh, yeah.
When no one's there.
Yeah.
No one's at the light, and
Well,
you've got to wait at least 30 seconds for the green arrow.
And
Who came up with that brilliant idea?
And I take the other side of that argument because I'm getting off the freeway. I'm like, see you later, Celeste. I got the
Bye.
green.
Are you honking at me? I'm like, oh.
I wonder if they have any roundabouts in this town. It's our mystery cam. You can guess. Back in 2. Okay, everybody, welcome back. Celeste and I have been looking. So the two American flags on top of that kind of boring-looking building. What do you think? Is that a hotel or is that like
The U.S. Embassy?
A government, the U.S. Embassy. If this turns out to be in Kokomo, Indiana, the U.S. Embassy.
Well, it's got like 20 American flags hanging on top, which I love.
Yeah.
But, you know, or at
Right?
least two anyways. Yeah.
We're getting a lot of roof line here. There's a nice church. We did see a seagull, so we think it's pretty close somewhere to a large body of water. Celeste.
It doesn't look like a very fun city, though. Lots of rooftops.
Correct.
Okay, so what we have got North Carolina, South Carolina. What are some of the other coastal areas around there?
Well, I like Sherry, who's saying, you know what, it could be Wisconsin because it's on a great big lake, Lake Michigan.
That's true. Do they have seagulls up there? Not sure, maybe. So we have Aurora, Illinois from Lil Philosophy. We've got Georgia from Linda Monterth.
Right.
And Darche White says Georgia as well.
So,
got some good guesses.
Yeah.
What are you going to go with, Ron?
I think I am going to go with, okay, so where?
Ohio?
I'm
wow.
going to go
Okay.
with a Wisconsin.
You're going to go
I think I'm going to go
Wisconsin?
with Sherry. She sometimes is very, oh, by the way, their little philosophy is like, oh, the seagull flew away.
Oh, my goodness.
How about you, Celeste?
Okay, so I will go, what's up there, too, by Wisconsin? Michigan?
Michigan?
Okay, I'll go Michigan.
Okay, here we go.
And okay, we
everybody.
started the mystery cam with a beautiful envelope. It said "Do not remove."
Correct.
Then we moved on to a sheet that said mystery cam,
Right.
and now we've just resorted to MC. Okay. Do you see the
You know
downward
what that is?
progression?
That is the days of frustration from Dean Fazzini, who tried it with a nice envelope. Do not remove. It got removed. So this is what we're down to now. MC.
MC
Take it.
people, just
All
go
right,
with
what,
it.
what do you got, Celeste? What do you
Oh,
got?
Appleton, Wisconsin.
It is Wisconsin.
Yeah, nice
Oh,
work.
Okay, hold on. I got to go back to Appleton. You know, Celeste, I try to have a story about every town in
Tell us
America.
more,
You know what
please.
my story is here? I was surprised because I went to a Green Bay Packer game once about 10 years ago with my dad.
Is that like near Green Bay?
It is about a half-hour drive, but that's as close as we could get for a motel room.
Oh.
And there's a statue, you can't quite see it here, but it's on the main drag in town of the most famous person to ever come out of Appleton, Wisconsin.
Who
Any
is?
guesses?
It's whoever created Applebee's.
Wouldn't that be nice? It's Harry Houdini.
Oh,
He was from that
really?
town.
Oh, wow.
So,
Interesting.
you know, we
Did
stopped
sh-
and got a picture.
I wonder if his parents still live there. You think they're still alive?
Like his family,
yeah,
Harry
like
Houdini's
fam-
parents?
Yeah.
I don't even think Harry Houdini's children are still
Oh,
alive.
how old was he?
Well, that's close to 100 years ago, Celeste.
We've got
but
a lot of centenarians, Ron. I'm thinking on the positive.
you know what? When we go to an hour, we'll be able to dig into Harry Houdini's family tree. But
And
for now, no.
everybody in the chat's like, no,
No,
thank you.
That's correct. What do you think about these wolves that got brought back from the dead, Celeste? What a story.
Hold on, Ron. Were people listening to our conversation for lunch? We've got barbecue in the studio. Or not in the studio, but in the building.
Oh, were our mics hot through the whole
I think
thing?
somebody said, what's for lunch?
Oh, gosh. Okay.
Barbecue, people. Barbecue.
Yeah. All right, so here we go. This company called Colossal Biosciences
Yes.
says that they have brought the dire wolf back from extinction, literally back from the dead. And what they said they did was they edited some gray wolf cells with DNA extracted from fossils of the dire wolf. So, I mean, I did it on the show with Anita earlier, and she's like, well, they're cute. I can say that.
Okay, so the purpose of this was why?
I think, honestly, it's a little bit of experimentation to see if it can lead up to the big ones, Celeste.
to bring people back to life.
No, to recreate dinosaurs.
Oh,
Remember Jurassic Park?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we'd have to keep them on an island. Like
but then
a
we
Jura-
would die because isn't that like?
Right.
I don't know.
Wow. I
If
mean,
you
I
could-
guess
you're-
I'm kind of open-minded. You know, some people would say, oh, you're playing God with, that was what had to happen. I mean, that was nature taking its course. They don't seem like they would be able to be all that defensive.
I mean, if there was somebody to bring back, Ron, you're a history buff.
Yes.
If there was somebody in history who's passed, and let's say they utilize this science to bring somebody back, who would you bring back for a conversation
Honestly,
to have on the stream next to us?
I would want it to be Abraham Lincoln.
I was thinking you would say Houdini.
Okay.
But no.
Yeah, well, sure.
But Abraham Lincoln
he's
is
second
good.
place. But because I want to hear his voice. Everybody said he had kind of a high, scratchy voice like this when he spoke.
Wow. And you know, we were just chatting about this with Johnny Netzel, who's the chief photojournalist here. Right. He's the most written about president in history. I read a book on his faith, the faith of Abraham Lincoln. It was like one of the only books written about him. He talked a lot about his mom, and she used to sweep a dirt floor in their home. Like that's the type of, and she would sing gospel songs.
Right.
In Illinois.
Yeah,
she
his
was,
beloved mother, as he referred to her.
Yeah.
She was a great influence on.
Oh my goodness,
on
what a
his
great
life.
conversation. Okay, I'm on board. I'm on board with bringing wolves back now.
Okay, good. Maybe the dinosaurs will wait for later on. Hey, did you see that RFK Jr. was in town yesterday? He went before the legislature because he wanted to speak in favor of a couple of bills. One, 1264, would ban ultra-processed foods in the public school meals. The other, HB 2165, would no longer allow SNAP recipients from using taxpayer-funded benefits to buy soda. And so those were the two things. And he said basically this fight for him is something that he has not given up on anytime soon when it comes to basically junk food.
Yeah.
Our food today, it used to be nutrient dense. Today it's nutrient barren. And your body craves it. It's looking for the nutrients which it associates with those tastes. And that's why your body remains hungry all the time. And so you eat more and more, you gain more and more weight, and you're never satisfied.
That bill, I think, is looks like it's receiving almost unanimous support to make healthier school lunches.
Well, and he made a good point at the end of his interview, and it follows really the science that it does make you ever feel like when you have a piece of candy, you're like, oh, I want more. If you have something, you know, like you want, like I can't stop with a handful of chips.
You know, for me, it's popcorn, like an Orville Redenbacher.
Okay.
Or Ritz crackers or Cheez-Its.
Oh, did you ever like the cheese that came out of the bottle, like the can that the Cheese Whiz?
Oh, Cheese Whiz.
Cheese Whiz.
Yeah, that's
I used to
somewhat
love
addictive
Cheese
too.
Whiz.
You don't suppose that's on his list next, do you?
I'm guessing.
I'll tell you this much. He's been in office for how many months and we're still drinking aspartame in our diet sodas? Come on,
What are you drinking these days, Ron, besides whiskey?
No whiskey. I drink whatever diet sodas I can find that have no aspartame.
And
That's
so
my one
what
rule.
have you found one that doesn't?
Yeah, there's a bunch of them. Zevia, bubbly or poppy, those.
Does that have caffeine?
One called sparkling ice. Some of them do, some of them don't.
I love me a Diet Coke, though, Ron.
I know.
I love a Diet Coke.
I know, it's so addictive.
Coke or Pepsi, people in the chat. Coke or Pepsi.
Okay, that'll get them going, that's for sure.
Yes, debate.
Now, when it comes to, so that's what to drink. When it comes to what to eat, Celeste, how often? Give me just an estimate. Last year, how many times did you have a grilled cheese sandwich? Roughly.
Last year?
In the year of 2024.
Maybe like 5 times.
Okay. You know, I really love them, but I don't think to make them.
Often about making them?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's if I think about making tomato soup,
Yes.
then I make it.
Oh, that's a guarantee.
By the way,
right?
did you see, I was at Target and I was with Kalina, our youngest, and I saw a can of tomato and grilled cheese in a can.
Okay.
Did you guys, anybody? Oh, look, Trenton's like, yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
it's in a can.
All
So you get
right.
all the flavors together.
Well, here's why I'm talking about it. They just came out with a survey, and 49% of Americans go for American cheese, and 46% choose cheddar, and that's about it, Celeste.
Oh, wow, okay.
I'm going to take your camera right here for
you
a
want it?
minute.
Oh,
there you
okay.
go. And so, yeah, I mean, mozzarella. Let's see what else we have.
Mozzarella.
Well, that's the way Rick D'Amico, our buddy on the
He's
show from years
he's
ago, called it
Italian.
mozzarella or pepper jack. Some say 2 slices is the way to go. Only 20% say it needs to be 3 slices or more.
because it's too cheap.
But then Crystal was saying she likes to really mix and match. You know, go for an American cheese and then throw a pepper jack in there.
I love American
Or a
cheese. I know it comes
provolone.
in plastic.
Yes.
But it's so
Right.
good. It's so good.
Why is it the only one that comes in those little plastic sheets instead of all the rest of them?
I
Have
don't
you
know.
ever
I mean,
figured that out?
yeah, and half of them are fake anyway. So just be you.
By the way, 12% say they want their grilled cheese. It's National Grilled Cheese Day later in the week. They want it somewhere between well done and burnt.
So we have a lot of Pepsi drinkers on here, Ron.
Yes.
In the chat.
Okay.
Because I said Diet Coke or Pepsi. We've got a Dr. Pepper, but a lot of people actually are doing some Pepsi. And
Oh, is that right?
And Sherry Nevada Pup, she says she doesn't do soda at all. God
Yeah,
bless you.
Some people are, I mean, some people do it as a way to be healthy. That's for sure.
Look, Kim Winnett says, I've been drinking Diet Coke since 1982. Look at her, she's alive and well.
Yeah. We love you, Kim. We're glad you're in the chat box every day. We have anybody new today? Celeste,
I don't know.
reading.
Let me throw this
Hold
Coke
on.
with peanuts.
How about Elroy Dale?
Wow.
I think Elroy's new.
Okay, Elroy.
Okay, we love our new chatters in the chat box.
Yeah, where are you
Elroy.
watching from, Elroy?
Yeah, tell us for sure.
Oh, can I say a quick hello, Ron?
Sure.
We have, her name's Carrie, and she sent me a note on Instagram. She lives in Ohio, has family in Phoenix, watches us, watches the stream.
Oh, nice.
And she was like, am I going to be able to watch you guys on the how do I watch you now? Because we're making the change from the Fox 10 Phoenix app to the Fox Local app.
Correct.
And I told her, don't worry, you can watch. But how great that she watches from Ohio, like many of you are in other states.
Correct.
To keep up with what's happening here in Arizona,
people
too.
move in and out of this town all the time, and when
Yes.
they move out, they kind of like to take their favorite shows with them, and
I
that's a big part of what we're doing. Everybody's got YouTube.
Yeah, they do.
Doesn't matter where you are. Hey, Celeste, if I were going to ask you, we only got about a minute left, but I was going to ask you, who's the humblest of all country music stars?
Oh.
Think about some of the great names that are out there, from like Luke Combs to Morgan Wallen
What's the
to
super
Garth
tall
Brooks.
guy? Super tall guy? Like he's like 6'8". He was on with that Trump show. What's his name?
Travis Tritt? No.
Who is Trace Adkins.
Oh, Trace Adkins.
I would go Trace Adkins or Garth Brooks.
Okay. The answer, believe it or not, is Luke Combs.
Really?
He is I have no idea when he goes out and gets his check every day in the mailbox.
Okay.
How many millions he makes.
How many? He's probably tired of seeing all the zeros.
He said the other day on a podcast that he and his wife still live in their small home that they started their family with. It's a 2-bedroom house. He says, my wife and I, we have one of the rooms and the other is for the 2 boys. And that's it. She says, look,
Where's
we're
Mom?
basic.
Where's Mom?
Yeah.
Where does Mom live there too?
Well, hopefully.
I'm not trying to put you on the spot, Luke.
Yeah.
But,
but he
where's
said-
my bedroom?
Get this. He said the benefit is you only have one room to clean up at the end of the day.
Oh, that's so true. So
Anyway,
true.
Luke, we love you. But Celeste, guess what?
We got to go already?
Got to say our goodbyes.
All right, we're going to an hour soon, friends. Have a great day.